Tonight, we journey to a quiet rural town in Washington state. A place where the air smells like pine trees, and the loudest sound is the wind brushing through the evergreens. But beneath the stillness, a mystery unfolded. A young woman vanished without a trace. No struggle. No evidence. No goodbye. Pine Hollow is the kind of town that barely makes the map. Population, just under 1,200. A few shops. A diner. One sheriff's office. Life moves slow there, and everyone knows everyone's name. Emily Hart had lived there her entire life. 26 years old. She worked at the local library, helped organize town events, and was known for her gentle, soft-spoken demeanor. She had no enemies. No criminal history. No reason to run. But one cold morning in October, she was simply gone. October 12, 2017. Emily's morning was uneventful. She opened the library at 8 a.m., shelved returns, chatted briefly with a co-worker, and left around noon to get lunch. Security footage showed her walking out of the library and down the sidewalk, a scarf wrapped around her neck, a coffee in hand. That was the last confirmed sighting of Emily Hart. She didn't return to work. Her phone went unanswered. That evening, her mother called the sheriff when Emily didn't come home. The community came together immediately. By the next morning, volunteers were combing through woods and riverbanks. Her car was found parked near a trailhead just outside of town, keys still in the ignition. Nothing seemed disturbed. No signs of a struggle. Her purse and phone were missing, but there was no trace of Emily. Police interviewed friends, co-workers, and even distant acquaintances. There was no recent breakup, no financial stress, no mental health concerns. Her online activity stopped cold at 12:19 p.m. that day. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. With no physical evidence, investigators leaned into theories. The hiker theory. Some believed she went for a walk on the nearby trail and got lost or injured. But helicopters, dogs, and drones searched every inch, no signs of her. Voluntary disappearance. Some speculated she left to start over. But why leave everything behind, including her medication and money? Emily wasn't known for impulsiveness. The stranger theory, could she have accepted a ride? The road near the trailhead was quiet, but not empty. Locals remember seeing a dark green pickup truck around that time, but no one could identify it. The local suspect. Months later, attention turned to a former classmate, Jeremy Blake. He had a minor criminal record and had once asked Emily on a date, which she declined. Rumors said he didn't take rejection well. But there was no solid link. No proof. No motive. Nearly 6 months after her disappearance, a woman hiking 10 miles from town found something odd wedged between rocks near a stream, a small, worn book of poetry. Inside the cover was a name, Emily H. It matched a collection she kept in the library. Forensics found no fingerprints. No blood. No DNA. Just a book, likely placed there by water or wind. This discovery reignited interest, but led nowhere. Hope began to fade. The case grew cold. As of today, it's been nearly 8 years since Emily Hart disappeared. Her mother still leaves a light on at the front porch. Her library locker remains untouched. The town holds a candlelight vigil every October 12th. Sheriff reports say no new leads have emerged. The green pickup was never found. Jeremy Blake moved away. And the trailhead. Still open. Still silent. Emily Hart's case remains one of the most haunting in Washington state. Not because of violence, but because of the silence. The complete, total quiet. Some believe she'll walk back into town one day. Others have made peace with not knowing. But for now, her story sits among the unsolved, whispered only by the pines and the passing wind. In 2019, 2 years after Emily's disappearance, a new family moved into an old farmhouse, just a few miles from the trailhead where Emily's car was found. During renovations, the new homeowner's daughter, just 12 years old, discovered a small notebook wedged behind a loose floorboard in what was once an attic bedroom. The pages were weathered, some torn. But one name stood out: Emily H. The diary didn't match her handwriting exactly, but the phrasing, the tone, it mirrored the poems she once shared on her long-deleted blog. Mentions of a hidden place and a voice that comes at dusk. Some entries seemed lucid, others fragmented, cryptic, possibly disturbed. Sheriff's deputies collected the notebook and sent it for forensic analysis. Results were inconclusive. Some believed the diary was a hoax, planted by someone craving attention. Others thought it was a sign that Emily might have been held, briefly, in that very house. But the house had been unoccupied for over 10 years. Around the same time, a strange visitor was captured on library security cameras. At 3:14 a.m., someone broke into the Pine Hollow Public Library, not to steal, but to sit. A tall, hooded figure entered the archive room and sat in silence. For over 20 minutes, they thumbed through a stack of old yearbooks and newspaper clippings, then vanished. Nothing was taken. No fingerprints. No identifiable face. Emily had worked in that very room. When investigators reviewed footage from prior weeks, they found no signs of similar activity. The break-in was a one-time event. Some believed it was someone close to the case, maybe the person responsible. Others felt it was someone trying to understand, someone grieving, still looking for Emily. The sheriff's office called it a dead end. But online forums lit up. Reddit threads. Amateur sleuth podcasts. TikTok series began appearing, some respectful, others wildly speculative. The case became internet folklore. Mysterious, unsolved, and somehow intimate. In 2021, a new name surfaced. Tyler Griggs, serving time for a separate assault case, wrote a letter to a local journalist claiming he knew what happened to Emily Hart. Tyler had never been publicly connected to the case, but in his letter, he described the trailhead in remarkable detail, even mentioning the book of poetry before it was made public. He claimed he once met Emily at a gas station, weeks before her disappearance. According to Tyler, she was running from someone and needed a way out. He claimed to have offered help, but she'd changed her mind. Journalists tried to interview him, but Tyler refused all calls. The sheriff's office could not confirm any of his claims, and without physical evidence, they considered it attention-seeking. Still, the timing, the details, left a shadow of doubt. In early 2023, hikers found something unusual deep in the forest: a small, handmade wooden cross standing beside a moss-covered rock. No writing. No personal items. Just a symbol, deliberate, peaceful, and oddly placed. Cadaver dogs were brought in. Soil samples tested. No human remains were found, but a rusted earring back was uncovered beneath the surface. Emily was known to wear small, silver studs. Her mother believed it matched one of the pairs Emily wore to work. Still, the sheriff's office couldn't make a positive connection. That unmarked grave remains unclaimed, and Emily's case remains unsolved. Emily Hart's room remains untouched. Her calendar still marked on October 12, 2017. Her coffee cup still sits on the shelf in the back of the library. Her mother says she still hears footsteps sometimes, soft ones, down the hall. She doesn't believe in ghosts, but she does believe Emily is out there, watching, waiting. In a way, Pine Hollow never moved on. Every missing person case changes the rhythm of a place. The silence becomes part of its identity. And so, tonight, as you drift off to sleep, remember Emily. Not for her vanishing, but for the questions she left behind. For some stories stay with you longer than others, even in the dark. In 2024, something strange arrived at the Pine Hollow post office. A plain white envelope, addressed only to the Hart family, Pine Hollow. For her mother. No return address. No stamp. Just hand-delivered by someone no one remembered seeing. Inside were 4 handwritten letters, each unsigned, written in soft cursive. They spoke as if from someone watching. I still remember the pine needles under my feet. I thought I could disappear. But the forest is not forgiving. You told me to be brave. I tried, Mom. They said it was safe. But it wasn't. Police examined the paper, ink, fingerprints, nothing traceable. No matches in any database. The handwriting didn't match Emily's journal or old cards exactly, but her mother swore it was hers. The content hinted at regret, fear, and someone else. Are they never named? The letters were published online, sparking another round of theories, sightings, ghost stories, even fiction. But no evidence ever came from it. Months after the letters, a true crime podcast featured Emily's case in a 2-part special. Episode 2 aired a voicemail the podcast host received from a blocked number. A man's voice. Distorted. Slowed. But certain phrases cut through the audio, sending chills through every listener. It wasn't supposed to happen like that. She knew about the others. The trail was only one part. The host traced the call to a burner phone used only once, just outside state lines. This fueled a new theory. Emily had discovered something bigger. Maybe connected to a pattern. Maybe connected to more disappearances in small towns near forest edges. Cases no one had ever linked before. But again, the thread unraveled. Leads dried up. The case was no closer to being solved. Now, nearly 8 years and 8 months later, something quiet happened. One evening in January 2025, a woman walking her dog in the neighboring town of Cradle Pines passed an abandoned farmhouse. As she walked by, her dog froze, tail down, ears back. When she looked up, she saw a face in the upstairs window. Just a glimpse. A pale woman. Dark eyes. Blonde hair pulled back. Watching. No one lived there. And when authorities searched it the next day, they found no one. No tracks. No sign of life. But in the dust on the inside of the glass, someone had drawn a small heart. We may never know what happened to Emily Hart. Whether she vanished by choice, by force, or by fate. But sometimes, the not knowing becomes the story itself. In the stillness, in the woods, in the letters and the windows and the whispered phone calls, we find pieces. Not enough for answers, but enough to wonder. And as you close your eyes tonight, think of her. A quiet girl in a quiet town. Gone, but never forgotten. Good night, and thank you for listening.